Hello and welcome to all beautiful souls out there. You're listening to the Restore My Soul podcast with Princess Millens, your favorite grief coach and emotional wellness specialist. In this space, we will help those who struggle with grief and loss and have real conversations about how to overcome it in every area of life. Through our personal stories, practical information, and wisdom from Princess and her special guests. We are here to educate, inspire, and empower you with the strategies you need in your emotional healing journey. We do not offer medical advice, but we believe that we can all learn to heal by creating a mindset to grow past our pain and push toward our purpose. Our goal is to remind you that grief is a journey and you do not have to walk it alone. No matter what the pain or loss is, you can be restored and live fully in your purpose. So let's push through the pain together as we share our stories of resilience, one episode at a time.
Welcome in everybody to another episode of the Restore My Soul podcast. Thank you for being here. We are here to educate and inspire you and empower you in your emotional healing journey. I am your host, Princess Millens, your favorite grief and emotional wellness specialist. And we are here to have a real conversation, right, about how we can bounce back, how we can build resilience. This is what this broadcast is about. And I'm so excited, right? I'm so excited to bring another guest here on the broadcast. Our special guest today is Precious Clouthier, and she is a certified life coach and performance coach and a motivational speaker, an empowerment speaker, I would say, right? She is also the founder of Precious G.E.M.S, which stands for Generating Entrepreneurs and Motivating Souls. And Precious has been an entrepreneur for over a decade now and has been invited to speak before numerous for-profit and nonprofit organizations. And her mission is to assist individuals worldwide who are struggling with time management and goal setting, right? And she is a master at all of this. And if you need help gaining clarity on your goals, she is the girl to go to, right? She is just full of energy and enthusiasm and loves helping people. I've seen this firsthand. So welcome to the show, Precious, today. And I know that we're going to have an awesome conversation. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and being able to bless us with your story.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and dive in, if you don't mind, right? So
Go
we want
ahead.
to give the people all that they need today. So I just want you to start off by telling everybody your background, your story, and how you came to be this wonderful life coach and performance coach.
Wow. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, Princess, for having me as one of your guests here today to be able to share my story and a little bit about me. I was born in Rhode Island. I was raised in Macon, Georgia. My mom moved to Macon, Georgia when I was 7 years old, and I came back at 14. Yes. And I'm one of 8 siblings.
Okay.
So there's a there is a lot of us. Unfortunately, both of my parents, they had struggled with a drug addiction growing up, right? And with that, with my mom moving away from my dad, she practically became a single mom, right? And life was hard. Life was hard. We lived without a lot of it. We lived without the water, the gas, the lights, you name it. We know how to survive, okay?
Yeah.
But the one thing I can say is that my mom always taught us discipline, right? She always taught us that it didn't really matter what we was going through. What really mattered is that we had each other. And so even though she was battling with her own battles, she showed us love.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we have. Me and my siblings are really, really, really close with each other. And, just to fast forward a little bit, we moved back up here at 14. And at the time, we were still kind of living place to place, jumping from place to place. And at 16 years old, I was kind of really at a point where I was tired of living place to place, and I really just wanted to have my own. And so I went on that search of finding an apartment at 16 years old, Princess.
Wow.
Was living with my aunt at the time. My mom, she was waiting on her low income housing at the time. And I just couldn't wait no longer. And I just said, you know what? If it is to be, it's going to be up to me. And I
Absolutely.
remember picking up a newspaper and looking at the apartments. And we talking about back in 2006. I went on there and I found a 2-bedroom apartment for $500. We can't even find that no more.
Wow. You'll never find that right now.
For $500. And my cousin, she was 18 at the time. She was also living place to place. And I was like, we can do this. My background, I started working at Burger King, and that's what I
Oh,
started. That's what I was doing, working at Burger King. And we called the place and we went to look at the place. And that's when I became I started renting an apartment at 16 years old. So I've been on my own since 16 years
wow.
old. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was working at Burger King. And so it was really hard for me at 16. I'm trying to pay the bills. I'm trying to keep the roof over our head. We going to school.
Yeah.
It was really a lot going on, but I always been what they call the backbone of the family, right? I
Mm.
always been someone that someone could go to. And they kind of call me the mediator of the family, because every time something went on, they said, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, are you the oldest? Are you the
I am
oldest?
not. I'm the middle. I am the fourth child. No, I'm the
Okay.
fifth child. I'm the fifth child. So I'm sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
But always been that person that, they
Wow.
could come to. And so I always been a mediator, because they knew I wouldn't choose sides. What's right and what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right. And I was always that person. But I didn't know
Yeah.
early on that I didn't know later on I would become a life coach, but my background is working at Burger King, where I became a manager at 22 years old. So I worked at the company for about 5 years, and they asked me to go for management, right?
Oh,
Through
wow.
that time, I was able to graduate high school with honors. I was big on allowing my pain to be my purpose. And I didn't care
Yeah.
the fact that I was on my own, and that I had to pay bills, and that I had to do all these things. I said to myself, what I've been through don't determine where I'm going.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
And so I had to make a decision, and I decided that, you know what? I decided to do everything my mom instilled in me. And that was get your butt up and go to school. Get your butt
Mm.
up and make something out of yourself. And that's what I
Yes.
did. And I knew that they was like, for instance, they said if you get honor roll in 11th grade, you may get a scholarship paid for. They may pay for your first year of college. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went. And so for the last 2 years in school, 11th and 12th grade, I graduated high school with honors, and I got my first year of college paid for.
Oh, wow. That's great. Wow.
Yeah. And so I went up to college. I went up to college, and the first year was good. The second year, I started to realize, I was like, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for me. And when I was introduced to management, I had to choose keep the roof over the head
Mm-hmm.
or stay in college of something I really didn't enjoy. I didn't want to just do it because everybody said you need to go to college,
Absolutely.
right? And I went to college for general studies to be a lawyer in theater. I said I'm a good actor, and I could debate. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I can see that. I can see that.
So that's what I was going for. But I soon realized this ain't it. And so when I was introduced to management, I decided to withdraw
Yeah.
out of college and go for the management role. And
Yeah.
I killed it in that position. I was the top 3 manager in the entire district here in Rhode Island.
Wow.
Fast forward at 22, my godfather introduced me to entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow.
That's when I went on a journey of sales, right? I joined
Yeah.
a network marketing company where I help families and businesses get access to their legal rights.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Princess. I was like, okay, this is the way out. This is my financial freedom.
Yes, that's what we all strive for, right?
Right? This is it. I'm tired of working 60 hours a week at Burger King. I am burnt out. I am tired. I just can't do this no more. And so I built that very spare time part-time for 11 years, but it was I think it was the eighth year. It was the eighth
Yeah.
year mark, eighth or ninth year mark. I left about the fifth year. I left Burger King, went to go work at Olive Garden, and I did that for a few years. And I got to a point
Mhm.
where I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work for no one anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't want to
You
do
were,
this.
you were like at a crossroad.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I don't build this company. I don't build the personal development.
Mhm.
I know how to sell. I'm making some money. I don't want to do this anymore.
Mhm.
So I caught
Mhm.
myself calling my husband, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And I was surprised that my husband was like, then don't do it.
Oh, wow.
I said,
Listen. Yes. Yes. Brownie points for the husband. Okay.
we just bought a house. We got these
Yeah.
two boys. You
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is what my husband said to me. He said, Precious, I believe you are not where you want to be because you keep holding on to these jobs. Mm,
Mm.
mm.
Wow.
And that's when I went in. I gave my 2 weeks. I lasted a week and I walked away. Now,
Yeah.
I was making enough money to help my husband pay the bills, right? But I wasn't I was making some serious sacrifices, right? Had some money put away, you know what I mean? So when the times get rough, I had something to fall back on. But I was literally trusting in God and taking that leap of faith
Right. Right. Right.
on
Right.
me.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to go back to what I went through, right? Definitely didn't want to go live in place to place. We just bought a house, like can't buy a house and then be in foreclosure, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. There are many people that do that, right?
And so but my
Yeah.
husband really believed in me. And so to be honest with you, for the first 6 or 7 months, things was going really well. I
Yeah.
was like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, this is it. Yay, 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 yay. And then things not going so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said to myself, I said, all right, Lord, you gave me the confirmation to leave the job,
Absolutely.
but now I feel like I need to go back to work.
Right. I know that feeling. I know that feeling too, right?
And
And
so
that's
I
the
prayed.
point that you really have to trust him. That's the point that you get to, that you really have to trust, to know that you made the right decision. And I remember when you just said that you came to that crossroads to know that either I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to struggle with what I think I want to be doing, or what I really need to be doing, right? So it's so imperative. It's so imperative that we listen to God, right? And understand that He knows what's best for us. He always knows what's best for us. He knows better than we know, right? He knows better than we know. And so you've said so much that to unpack, right? I want to your upbringing and the things that you've shared with us so far. What um a broad and a powerful testimony that you have given, coming from where you came from, and the limitations from your parents back then, and being on your own at 16-year-old. I know some grown people that didn't know how to be on their own. So at 16, right? At 16, that I know that had to be one of the most hardest thing that you had to do. But I heard you say that it was something that was instilled in you, even with your parents and their addictions or whatever. They instilled in you the importance of education, right? The importance of learning and being able to sustain yourself through that, right? And so I want you to talk a little bit more about, how those things that even that you learned in the workplace when you was working at Burger King, the things that you've learned as far as entrepreneurship, getting into that, things going well, things not going so well, and how it got you into being the powerful goal setting coach that you are today.
Oh my gosh, great question. So when I got to that point where I asked God, should I go back to work? And I listened to him to answer me, he said no. He said, I got greater plans for you. And what he did was, little do you know, a year and a half prior to that, it was on my heart, my spirit to go to online college and become a certified life coach. A
Oh,
year and
wow.
a half prior, right? So when that hardship had happened, and I asked him, should I go back to work? He said, no, I gave you the time. Now use it wisely. Go to
Mm,
school.
yeah.
Go to school and complete this course. And so I went to school and I completed the course because I said, God had to show me that, Precious, what you're doing is what you're doing. It's not who you are. And that
Mm,
I know your experience and the things that you're able to teach people, you're going to be able to impact so much more lives.
yeah.
And so I listened to him, and I
Yeah.
went to 6 weeks of 6 weeks online college at International Association of Professional Career College. And
Yeah.
I went to the course and I passed with a 96% and I became a certified life coach, right? And so I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm following God, I'm following God. But you got to also understand I was still doing something for 10 years, which I still do it now, but now it's my secondary and not my primary, right? Because I was still doing that for 10 years. But
Yeah.
God said, now you need to focus. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, I passed. Now what? Where do I get my clients from? Like, who's gonna hire me? Who
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And he showed up and showed out when I wasn't taking it serious. What I noticed in my life that when I don't listen or I don't be obedient, God would take something away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So he
Yeah.
started taking things away, and I started, hold on. Oh, he's trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
So, you probably been through something where you're like, what is going
Yeah.
on? And that was
Yeah.
me. And what was going on is my God was saying, I need you to refocus. I really
Mm-hmm.
need to focus on the coach that you are, because I learned and know now that I got aligned with my purpose.
Absolutely.
So when I got aligned with my purpose, there were people, like 4 people hired me back to back in 1 month.
Wow.
Soon as I took it serious and I went after what God had in store for me and the things that He wanted me to be doing, 4 clients hired me back to back, one to one, and then I learned at my first group coaching with New York Life, where I kind of use my expertise in the sales industry to go and help their agents, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I've been on this journey of. And then I started doing a free goal setting workshops because I understand that people set goals, but they just don't know how to achieve them. Right?
Absolutely.
I've been,
Yes.
I can't believe I've been doing free goal setting workshops for over a year, right?
Yes.
And so I do that in group setting. Then I do a 2-day deep dive for those who want to dive deep into their goals and get help with mindset, get help with scheduling, get help with time management. And I have to
Yeah.
say, this has been a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
I done helped over hundreds of people. I don't even know at this point anymore.
Yeah.
Um, God has doubled my income, right? Because I
Yeah.
had to align with His purpose. Now there are times where that business still slow down too, but it's because
Yeah.
it's refocusing what it is
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Now speaking more, getting into the speak. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what happened for me. I had to get out of my own way.
Yeah. And that's powerful as far as getting it in your own way. because again, God knows his plans that he has for us.
Come
And
on.
sometimes we get in our own way, and we know what he said. We know, but just like you said before, we have to be aligned with our purpose. And when we're aligned with our purpose, blessings come, right?
It-
Favor come, things come that we would have never gotten before had we not been aligned, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, but it's also the one of the things that I got out of what you said as well. We also have to learn how to pivot, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I've been doing this thing for 10 years. I've been successful at it. Yes, I worked at Burger King for 5 years. I've been successful at it. And now I'm getting into management. I've been successful at it. And then God will tell you to pivot to do something else, right? But just like you said, he already planted the seed for you to go to school for the thing that you're doing right now, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I found myself in that place too of having to pivot. And a lot of times pivoting is meaning going back to what God told you to do the first time,
Come
right?
on, come on, come on.
What he told you to. So that's the place that I find myself even right now. Some things that I thought would be and thought was, it really is not. So I'm
Hmm.
realigning, if that is a word, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Realigning.
realigning. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm realigning to what God wants for real, right?
Yeah.
And I can be and I can have solace in that and stick with that, right? And know it's gonna work out everything for my good. Thank you so much for that and sharing that. So I want you, before we get off here, I want you to share something. Share what do you want to say to encourage the audience today about they might be struggling with something that happened in their past, and they can't find themselves as you have, as to push past those things and to get into the alignment that God has for them, right? What encouragement can you give for the audience today?
Um, One of the things that I would say is make your pain your purpose.
Mm,
Um,
that's good.
because your pain is your testimony,
Yeah.
right? And if a lot of people don't see or realize that testimony, there's the word test in it, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't go through a test, you don't get the testimony. So I had to go through the test. I had to go through the test of my income dropping for God to get my attention to do what I supposed to be doing, because I thought that this was what I was going to do for my whole life. But I realized that that was just a foundation. It was him
Mm-hmm.
literally setting me up.
Mm-hmm.
Already was a speaker with the company. I already started to develop on my mind. So he was setting me up to be able to go into coaching and being able
Yeah.
to help people based off my experience,
Okay.
not based off me just saying I'm a coach and I can help you with this, that. It based off my experience. And so what I would say to you, if you are going through a hard place right now, first and foremost, you want to give it to him. You
Mm-hmm.
want to give it to him, for one, and for two, you want to be obedient when the sign shows. So every
Mm-hmm.
time I was obedient, right? When my husband told me to go, and I said, you know what? Let me pray. Let me make sure this is my doing. Let me make sure this is God doing and not Precious doing. And so I
Yeah.
prayed about it and I said, God, show me signs. So if you're in a place right now and you're looking for validation or you're looking for confirmation, I want you to just pray about it. Right. And when I saw the signs, I said, oh, okay, my confirmation is here. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got the confirmation, and I was obedient. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get the confirmation and just sat on the word. I got the confirmation. I moved. I took the leap. I left the
Yeah.
job. I'm 2 years job free. 2 years
Yeah.
job free, right? And when I got
That's
the
good.
confirmation that I needed to pivot and do coaching, I listened. And when I listened, he blessed me with the clients. He blessed
Wow.
me with my income increasing. He did those things. And so if you're in a place of you're unsure, allow him to show you. And when he show you, be obedient and allow
Oh,
everything. He will work everything else out for you.
oh yeah. That's so good. That's so good. Obedience is better than sacrifice, and
Come
every
on.
good thing is not necessarily a God thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So much. Thank you so much, Precious, for being here on this episode. And before we leave, I want you to tell everybody how to follow you and anything that you got going on how they can connect with you.
Yeah, definitely. So if you see my name here on the screen, Precious Clouthier, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook at Precious Clouthier. If you want to know more about my service, my coaching, my free goal setting workshop, my paid workshops, you can go to preciousgemspd.com and visit my website to see all the other services that I offer. Individuals I do individuals, like she said, clarity, need help with time management, and I forgot what I do.
Go ahead.
Overwhelmed, they're unfulfilled. They need help with getting clarity on their goals and they're struggling with managing their time. Yeah, but definitely connect with me because I'm always dropping those precious gems. And I also wrote a book. That's Precious Gems as well as Precious Gems 365 Days of Encouraging Words, where it's a book of guidance, it's a book of direction, it's a spiritual book, it's a book to help more people live a more happier, fulfilled, stress-free life. And so you can find that book also on the preciousgemspd.com website as well.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much again for being here, Precious. It was
Having me.
so good to talk to you today. And we look forward to connecting soon. And all the people who are watching this show can connect with you as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Princess, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you all again for another episode of Restore My Soul podcast. Thank you for watching. I know that you have been blessed by this podcast. Y'all remember to follow me on all social media at Princess Millens and my website at princessmillens.com. I want you all to remember that grief is a journey, but you don't have to walk that thing alone. See you in the next episode. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining another episode of Restore My Soul podcast. Be sure to listen and watch each week as we continue the conversation on how to bounce back from the setback of grief and loss and to become resilient so that you too can thrive in life. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new episodes, and share this with as many people as possible so they can be encouraged in their emotional wellness journey. We invite you to follow Princess Millens on all social media platforms and on the website at princessmillens.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Restore My Soul podcast.